we need to talk about a number, specifically $460. Now, that might not sound like a huge amount at first, but trust me, it represents a massive problem that could completely change what retirement looks like for millions of people. And understanding this number right now is your first step to protecting your own financial future. So let me ask you this, and I want you to really think about it. What if someone was just taking $460 out of your bank account every single month? You'd be furious, right? You'd call the police. You'd call the bank. You would not let it stand. Well, here's the thing. This isn't some hypothetical robbery. This is a very real possibility for millions of American retirees. But it's not called theft. The government has a much calmer word for it: insolvency. And it is on the calendar, scheduled to happen in about a decade. So here's the heart of the problem. According to the Social Security Administration's own reports, the main trust fund, the one that pays out retirement benefits, is on track to run out of its reserves. Now, to be clear, the whole system doesn't just stop, but once those savings are gone, Social Security can only pay out what it's collecting from payroll taxes in real time. And that's only enough to cover about 77% of what's been promised. So what does a 23% shortfall actually look like in real dollars? Let's make it simple. Say your monthly benefit is $2,000. A 23% cut means your check would suddenly shrink by $460. Your new monthly income from Social Security would drop to just $1,540. I mean, for most people, that's not just a small adjustment. That's a life-changing pay cut. Now, here's a really common misconception. A lot of people assume that for a cut like this to happen, Congress would have to pass some big, dramatic, controversial law. But the truth is, it's the exact opposite. This cut is said to happen automatically if Congress simply does nothing at all. Let's get really clear on what this word insolvency means, because it sounds terrifying. It doesn't mean the checks stop. It just means the program's big savings account, its reserves, hits zero. From that moment on, it can only pay out what it gets in that day from taxes. The piggy bank is empty, so it can only spend the cash that comes in. So why on earth is this cut automatic? You can think of it like a legal lock. See, under current law, the moment that trust fund runs dry, the Social Security Administration's hands are legally tied. They are forbidden from borrowing money. They are forbidden from just taking money from the general federal budget. The only option the law gives them is to cut the checks to match the amount of tax money coming in. It just happens. Okay, we've talked about the math and the legal mechanics, but this isn't some abstract economic problem. A 23% benefit cut has a deep, real-world human cost. So let's talk about what that would actually mean for millions of people. A survey from the Senior Citizens League painted a really stark picture of just how devastating this would be. Nearly 3/4 of retirees said they'd have trouble paying their basic bills. More than 2/3 said they'd have to cut back on food. And over half, let that sink in for a second, half said they would have to skip or delay medical care. These are just impossible choices that no one should ever have to make in retirement. And this quote from Go Banking Rates really gets to the heart of it. This is why those survey numbers are so terrifying. For so many people, Social Security isn't just some extra pocket money. It's the absolute bedrock of their entire financial life. And when that foundation cracks, everything built on top of it starts to crumble. Okay, I know that was a lot of pretty heavy information. But look, the point of all this is not to scare you. It's to empower you. We can't personally control what Congress does or doesn't do, but we absolutely can control our own planning and our own strategy. So let's talk about what's actually in your hands. The first and maybe the most important thing to really get is this. Social Security was never, ever designed to be your entire retirement plan. It was built to be a foundation, replacing about 40% of a typical person's income. Relying on it for 100% of your needs is a risky move, even without these cuts looming. Your own savings and investments are meant to be the rest of the building. You know, one of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal is just patience. The difference between claiming your benefits at 62 versus waiting until 70 is absolutely massive. If you claim early, you lock in a permanently smaller check for the rest of your life. But for every single year you wait past your retirement age, all the way up to 70, your benefit gets a guaranteed 8% raise. That is a risk-free return you literally can't find anywhere else. And of course, a bigger starting benefit gives you a much bigger cushion against the very cut we're talking about. So, avoiding just a few common mistakes can make a world of difference. First, don't just file early because the option is there. You need a real strategy. Second, make sure you know your actual full retirement age. It's not 65 for most people anymore. And finally, don't overlook other benefits you might be entitled to, like spousal or survivor benefits. Getting these things right can be worth tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Which brings us right back to the most important question of all, the one that ties everything we've talked about together. Is your retirement plan, the one you have right now, built to survive a 23% pay cut? Because this isn't just a what-if scenario, it's a scheduled automatic event that will happen unless the law is changed. Stress testing your own plan against that reality is probably one of the smartest things you can do for your future. Take care. Bye.